everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another Throne of Glass reading vlog, and that is for Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the fourth installment in the Throne of Glass series. As a lot of you may know, I really enjoyed the last installment, which was Heir of Fire. This is the third book, and unfortunately I had to wait like 3 months to get to this book because I was out of town and I didn't have any of my filming equipment with me. So I have definitely really been enjoying this installment. I'm actually like 30% of the way through already. I started it yesterday and I am already on page 194, and that is chapter 24, which is just about 30% of the way through. I also already have some tabs here. This is a pretty chunky book. I believe it's like about 650 pages, so I thought it was going to take me longer to read, but honestly I think I can probably get this done in like 3 or 4 days. So far I'm really liking the pacing of this story. We have a few new characters, which is kind of crazy because we've already been introduced to quite a few new characters in the last book, so I feel like by the time I get to Kingdom of Ash there's just going to be like a million characters for me to keep track of. But we've been introduced to Nesrin, who is Chaol's companion slash lover. We don't really know what she is, but essentially she is kind of Chaol's right-hand man. They're both, you know, in the rebellion, and Aelin is helping them out with that as well. There are also two major characters that have been brought back from previous books, and that is Lysandra and Arobynn. So those two characters were heavily featured in The Assassin's Blade, which was a book that I read back in January. It's actually a bind-up of 5 prequel novellas leading up to the beginning of the Throne of Glass series, and it's really interesting seeing these two characters back. What's really cool is that Lysandra, who is a courtesan, her and Aelin were not the best of friends back in the day when they were younger, and Aelin was living at the Assassin's Keep with Arobynn and the other assassins, and Lysandra was a courtesan that hung around a lot. And yeah, they kind of hated each other's guts, but it's really cool to see in this book that they're becoming friends and really supporting each other. Then we have Arobynn, who is kind of a dick. So he is essentially like the head of the assassins at the Assassin's Keep in Rifthold in Adarlan, and he took care of Aelin for about 10 years, raised her to be the assassin that she is, but he's also been pretty horrible to her. He's beaten her, he has taken loved ones away from her, all of these things, and so it's weird seeing him be such a featured character again. Like I said, I'm about 30% of the way through, and honestly I'm just waiting for my bae Rowan to show up. I know he shows up at some point, but I just like need him to be here. Aelin misses him so much, I miss him so much. He is one of my favorite characters in this series. I'm also so glad to see Manon and Abraxos back, and they are both heavily featured in this book like they were in the last book. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. This book has been really well paced so far. We've also had some really good action scenes throughout, and I'll give you guys more of my thoughts as I keep reading. Hey guys, it is Sunday afternoon. I have actually had a pretty chill day here at home. I haven't had to leave the house at all, so it's been really great to just get a lot of reading done, and so I thought it was well past time to give you guys a reading update because I've gotten quite a bit farther in this book. I am actually on page 391, and that is chapter 48. I am at just about the 60% mark, so I think I will be able to finish this book. If not tomorrow, then definitely the next day. And right when I finished reading, a lot of shit just went down. It wasn't like there was like a lot of like action or battle scenes or anything like that, but Aelin is just like so cunning and so clever in this book. Like I am just obsessed with like how much of a genius she is. Basically, like a good part of this book has been her setting traps for various enemies of hers, and I am just so here for it. Also, at about page like 230, my bae Rowan came back into the story, and I'm just so happy to see him. I don't know, it's just been really great to see him and Aelin's relationship, and I love how they interact with each other. They are so funny, but they also just love each other so much. But I am getting a little impatient because I really just want them to confess their feelings to one another because they're clearly perfect for each other, but Rowan is being kind of standoffish, and I'm a little annoyed with him right now because of that. that. I'm also obsessed with this new relationship that Aelin is in with Lysandra, because now her and Lysandra are like BFFs, and I am so here for that. I hated how in The Assassin's Blade they despise each other and they were so mean to each other. I like absolutely hated that, and it's just so cool for Aelin to have a new female best friend. And after the events of Crown of Midnight, I'm just so glad that she has found a best friend in Lysandra. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say at this point. I have a feeling that I'm gonna give this book 5 stars. I just really like how the story is progressing, and once again, I love Manon and Abraxos. I've used quite a few orange tabs. The orange tabs I use for like cute or funny moments. I've used quite a few orange tabs to label things that Abraxos does, because he is just the cutest little puppy dog wyvern. Yeah, I'm just loving all of the POVs in this book and all the different storylines. So yeah, I just have a feeling that I'm gonna give this 5 stars, but of course I'm gonna wait until I finish the book to give you guys my final thoughts. But yeah, I'm just excited to keep reading. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for my update for now. Guys, so I just got out of the shower, as you can tell, but I really wanted to do another reading update, and I also want to do something a little bit different with this reading vlog. So even though this reading vlog is specifically for Queen of Shadows, which I do have an update to talk about, I've also seen other booktubers that I follow include other bookish things in their vlogs to kind of keep them interesting. So I actually have a mini bookish haul that I wanted to include as well. But first, I am going to give you guys my reading update. So, Queen of Shadows, I am on page 543. That is just about 100 pages out from the end, and we are just about at the climax of the story. And I don't really have much else to say except that once I'm finished filming this part of the vlog, I'm going to immediately pick this book back up and definitely finish it by the end of the night. But the first thing I wanted to show you in my mini bookish haul is this large monthly planner that I got from Amazon. I think the brand is J Story. I will definitely link it down below. But I got this amazing idea from Chandler Ainsley here on BookTube. I will definitely link her channel below. She is so funny, but she also has really informative videos about how to run a BookTube channel and how to grow one. And so in her latest video, she talked about how consistency is so important with the YouTube algorithm, which makes sense, of course. The more consistently that you post, the more that your videos will be promoted by YouTube. So she suggested actually getting something basic like this large monthly planner. This is literally what the spread looks like. It just has a day of the week and then really big squares for each day. So she was essentially talking about in that video about how having a monthly spread as simple as this is a really great way to plan out what days you want to film your videos, what days you want to edit them, what days you want to upload them, just to make sure that your channel will be as consistent as possible. I think at this point I am going to be shooting for posting 1 day a week, but I do ultimately want to be able to post 2 days a week. But yeah, I'm just hoping that something like this will really help my channel. And then the next thing I got, oh my god, I'm so excited. I got the all-new Kindle Paperwhite. A lot of you may know that I have a Kindle. I actually got a refurbished Kindle that was the last generation. I think that generation came out in 2015, and I had that Kindle for about 10 months, but unfortunately it stopped working a few days ago. It will not charge, it will not turn on, it will not respond to me at all. So what I decided to do is send back that old version, and even though it doesn't work, Amazon does take back your old Kindles as a trade-in kind of thing. So I went ahead and got the newest edition. I think this generation came out last year, 2018, and I am just so excited. I have it right here. Here's what it looks like. I think most of you know what a Kindle looks like, but I can already tell that this version is better than the old Kindle that I had. For one thing, the display to me looks crisper and overall just better. But also this Kindle that I just got, I can tell responds a lot faster to touch than my old one. With my old Kindle, I would touch a button and then there would be a delay of like 2 seconds before my Kindle would actually do what I wanted it to do, whereas this one responds pretty much instantaneously, which is really great. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is I did get a couple of new books. So the first one is my book of the month pick for August, and this is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. So this book is essentially about Emily and Simon, and Emily has just moved to a new town. It's a small town, and she essentially gets roped into participating in this Renaissance fair, and Simon is someone who avidly participates in this Renaissance fair and I think is in charge of the volunteers, which Emily is one of them. And it's kind of like a hate/annoyed to love story. And what really appealed to me about the story is that once Simon is in character, I think he plays a pirate at the Renaissance Fair. He like actually flirts with Emily, and Emily is in like a very revealing wench's costume, and that just sounds like an amazing story to me, so I can't wait to read this at some point. And then I also got 2 books from Barnes & Noble recently. The first one is Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett, and the second one is Always Never Yours, which is by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. So Serious Moonlight is Jen Bennett's latest release. I already know that I love her works because I read Starry Eyes by her a few months back and I absolutely devoured it, adored it. I gave it 4.5 stars. But this one centers around Birdie and Daniel. Birdie works at this hotel and Daniel is, I think, the hotel's van driver, and they share the same night shift. And yeah, like I can already tell that this is going to be great. And then this one is Always Never Yours. So this one centers around Megan. And basically all of her exes have found their one true love right after dating her, and so she thinks that she's essentially unlovable, and she ends up getting cast in her high school production of Romeo and Juliet and meets this guy Rowan, who is an aspiring playwright, and falls in love with him, I'm sure, at some point. But this plot sounded really cute, and a couple of booktubers that I follow really raved about this one, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one really soon at some point as well. So that is it for my mini bookish haul. I am going to go finish Queen of Shadows, and then next time you see me, I will have finished it and I will give you all of my final thoughts. So I usually like to doll myself up and put on makeup and the whole 9 yards when I'm closing out a reading vlog. But at this point, I don't give a shit because I finished this book not even 10 minutes ago, and I just had to talk to you guys about it because holy shit, this book was amazing. Of course I am giving it 5 enthusiastic stars. I am literally tearing up right now. Like thinking about like all the events that happened and like how amazing that like final battle scene was, and like the climax, and like, oh my god, like, I literally, y'all, I'm such a nerd. Like, literally the second I closed this book and was finished reading it, I legit hugged it to myself for a solid, like, 10 to 15 seconds because I just adored it so much. I am complete Sarah J. Maas trash. I don't even care. My question to the SJM haters out there is, how do you still hate her after reading this book? I'm assuming that the people who hate her probably read like maybe like the first book or maybe even like the first 2 books of the series and like just hated it and didn't continue. But like, oh my god, the series gets so much better in Heir of Fire, and then this book completely blew me away. From the first page, the pacing was so good. I absolutely loved the progression of the story. Towards the end, so around, I would say the last 100 pages or so, so what I've read since talking to you guys, there were so many plot twists and just so many things happening that like, that's probably part of the reason why I'm like tearing up. Like my brain can't even compute what I just read. Like I think I've lost it. And I'm completely okay with that. Like, I just can't recommend to you guys enough, like, read this series. If you enjoy YA fantasy and you haven't read this series, or if you read the first 2 books and you hated them for some reason and you put them down, please pick them up again. Please give them a second chance. Like, oh my god, this book, wow. And after reading this book, like, all of the characters now have such a special place in my heart. Of course, the standouts for me are, of course, Aelin. You know, she progressed so much in this book, and she also progressed a lot in Heir of Fire. But her character development, man, like, she's coming along, you know? She is really starting to become the person that she was always destined to be. Rowan, my bae, absolutely adore him. Him and Aelin have finally confessed their feelings to one another, and I am so here for it. I will always love Kale and Dorian, although Dorian's storyline made me like so sad most of this book, but at the end, things were resolved for him, and I'm just so happy. Manon and Abraxos, my god, talk about character development again. Manon has grown so much in the past 2 books that she's been involved in, and I'm also so glad that her storyline and the main storyline finally came together towards the end of the book. And I think that these 2 storylines are just going to get more and more interesting as this series goes along. And then also Lysandra, are you kidding me? Like, in The Assassin's Blade, she was just like this awful person, and her and Aelin were just so terrible to each other. And then this book, she turns out to be one of the most amazing people ever, and her and Aelin are now BFFs, and I am just obsessed with her now. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this reading vlog, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you would consider subscribing, and don't forget to press that notification bell button below so that you will be notified every time I upload. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!